What's up, guys and gals? This is season 2, episode 3 of Bulldog Uncensored. Got a very special guest today, one of the unsung heroes of rock and roll as of late, and getting more and more credit day by day, Mr. Marcus Rafferty from MUDVAYNE. Mark, what's going
Go
on?
on, buddy.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. I got a chance to see you guys on the last round of tour that you guys went through Mass.
Oh yeah. Are we
And
going through there with Megadeth this time? I
yeah,
think
I
we
think
are.
so. Yeah, I was at the Mansfield show.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
love that place.
yeah, it was great. So yeah, tell me a little bit about yourself for those of people at home that probably wouldn't know how you got to where you're at.
Oh.
Um, how long ago did you start playing guitar?
I started playing the guitar when I was a kid, like
Yeah,
9, 10 years old. My mom was showing me some stuff back in the day, and then I've been in the industry for about 20 years. Guitar teching, selling merch, playing in bands, doing whatever I could,
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. You teched for Hell Yeah, Flozzy, a couple other guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite
Did
the
Saxon,
resume.
Lamb of God for a while.
Nice. I love those guys.
Yeah, man, those are the dudes.
I
Yes,
actually,
sir.
2007, I got to meet than when they had the original lineup at Ozfest, and they were just the nicest dudes.
Oh, dude, that's still super sweet.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
I gave the handicap pass, so they put me in behind everybody in the booth while everybody else went through the line. So I got to hang out with them the whole time. It was great.
Nice.
So,
Well,
but
that worked
anyway,
out.
yeah. So I started when I was 10. I'm 36 now, so that tells you that's quite a long time too.
Yeah, yeah. I hit the old 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started out, did you play any bands locally in your area at the time?
I did. I had a band when I was a kid called Strange for a long time. I had a cover band here in Syracuse called When Everything Fails, because in Syracuse, when everything fails, start a cover band, you'll still make some money.
Yeah, right.
So that worked out. And I have my band with my brother called Fall of Humanity that's haven't really been too active, but we wrote some cool songs back in the day. We're talking about writing some more music, just trying to find the time to do it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I've got all kinds of irons in the fire, with new stuff on my end, and
Yeah,
it's so damn hard to get five people in the same room,
yeah,
let
yeah,
alone
absolutely.
when we're all working blue collar jobs at the same time, just playing rock star on the weekends, or at least I am right now.
Yeah, I feel you.
Crazy. So when
Absolutely,
you
man.
were coming up, was there a pretty decent local scene?
It was decent, man. When I was a kid, it was a decent scene.
Yeah.
Um, Syracuse was a big hardcore scene back in the '90s with like Earth Crisis was our claim to fame, and then my brother's other band, Brand New Sin, they got signed in 2000, and they did pretty well. So then everything kind of switched over to like blues and jazz, and the rock scene, the local scene, kind of. If you weren't a cover band, nobody'd go out to see it play, sort of
Holy
thing.
shit, you know what just dawned on me?
So
I played a show in Worcester with
yeah.
with my old band, with your brother's band, Brand New
Oh,
City.
Brand New Sin,
We
nice.
played at the Lucky Dog downtown Worcester,
Oh no,
and
shit,
it was
that's
a hell of a
awesome.
night.
Yeah,
So
they're playing up here. The local radio station K Rock is putting on their K Rockathon. They stopped doing like a decade or so ago. They're relaunching it, and Brand New Sin's opening up the gig.
nice.
Yeah, that's
So,
next Saturday, I think, to the 27th.
cool. Well, definitely check that out, folks, if you're in the area for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I leave for tour like right after that. So
Yeah.
lucky
So
I get to see it.
so yeah, I mean, I guess, you played in and out of a couple bands and whatnot beforehand. How did the teching thing come about?
So when my brother got thrown out of Brand New Sin uh, in the early days of it because he was just a young kid.
Yeah.
He started teching for Chimera,
Oh,
and
okay.
then he went and drum tech for Trivium. They were just getting started, So it was like 2004. They ended up staying at my house, crashing on mom and dad's floor, and they were playing here in Syracuse at the Lost Horizon, a venue that my buddy John owns. I help him out with sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, and they thought it'd be a cool idea for me to sell merch for them, so they brought me out on the road doing that, and I that was kind of my foot in the door, and
Right.
I just took it from there. I just kept meeting people and uh, getting gigs. Then
Yeah. In this business, it's pretty much about who you know. And
yeah, that's all it is. Like there was a band called Silent Civilian that was opening up for Nothing Face when I was out selling merch for them back in 2006.
yeah.
And the guitar player quit, and I really liked the band, and I wanted to play guitar in the band. So I tried out for them for like 6 months, and finally I tried to try out. The owner of the record label just told me to record a video of me playing a song, but I looked at their tour dates and they were in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is like an 8 hour drive for me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go down there and jam in person. And I did. And then
Yeah.
I got that gig. I ended up joining up with them in Virginia the next day. I drove home. My dad turned around with me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, drove me down to Virginia so I could meet up with the gig.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Mom and dad were our biggest supporters for a while.
Yeah.
They had their goddamn money.
Yeah. My parents, I grew up on a small farm at just north of Worcester. And
Yeah.
so money was always tight, but they let me use the garage, and it's been still in use today.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful thing.
It's good stuff. But I'm in the process of building my own home studio at my place now that I'm married and living across town. So that's a little
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah. God
So,
bless you, buddy.
oh yeah, no, we're plugging away, but we're all trying to do the same thing, and it's just a matter of timing, I think, with certain gigs that musicians end up with or don't. You got to take
Yeah.
whatever opportunities you can. But yeah, so obviously, rubbing elbows with Trivium, love those guys. Um, you find your way into the upper echelon, shall we say, of
Yeah, man.
the metal scene in the world today. And you know, how did you get approached originally for this Mudvayne gig?
So I got approached from Greg to come out in guitar tech for them when they were doing the festival shows in uh, the fall of 2021, and I initially turned it down because it was the first gig after COVID. So I was out with Lamb of God for like 3 years, and then COVID happened and shut everything down.
Yeah,
So I started selling cars, and I was home with my family all the time, and
right,
I was
right,
pretty comfortable. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm good. But he talked me into it, and I went down there. And I had always sang backups with Chad with Hell Yeah, anyways, and
right,
whatnot. So um, I was doing some backups behind the curtain of the Incarceration Festival. Chad and I both had COVID. We didn't know it. We were sick as hell, and it was bad. Like
yeah,
fucking, it was bad. So then coming after COVID, after we had COVID at that show, there's issues with breathing and whatnot, and
right,
so they having two of us singing, me covering up more backup parts and what, so Chad didn't have to try and overexert himself.
right,
This kind of made sense.
yeah,
So yeah, so I quit my job and then just focused more on the band. Went down there for the Sacramento show, Aftershock, and then they had pulled me in the dressing room and told me that they wanted to bring me on stage and throw me in makeup, and, kind of make it an actual gig. So that was really nice.
nice,
Just you never know day to day how what's going to come at you and how you're
right,
going to be able to approach it or handle it. So
yeah,
thankfully, it ended up working out.
that's fantastic. I mean,
Yeah,
already being in that circle, obviously, that helps you get your foot in the door. But at the end of the day, if you can't play the shit, they ain't gonna hire you. So props to
fair.
you, bro.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, golly. So
Crazy.
today's my day off, my lounging day.
Oh, no worries, bro. I'm just glad we were able to do this finally. It's been a few
Absolutely, bud.
months in the making.
Yep.
Appreciate the time. Before we move on to the next thing, today's episode is brought to you by Boylan Guitars and Woody's Barbershop. Go to bulldoguncensored.com/sponsors for more details. So, what are you running gear wise? I know this is a little bit more specific to guitar players out there, but I always love talking shop.
No, yeah. I run a Kemper.
Okay.
Originally, when I was doing this with teching and singing behind the curtain for the for incarceration show, I realized that if something went down with Greg's rig and I was behind the curtain singing or playing a part on a guitar, as I was doing that as well, that I
Right.
would be able to get to him. So I set up two Kemper stage profilers
Okay.
on the floor with a Morley A B switch. So if one went down, he could hit the B switch and it would go to the secondary rig.
Right.
And then it's just kind of easy, convenient. You have the same tone everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Runs off both 220 and 110 and 220. So it's just really user friendly. So I just kind
Yeah.
of stuck with that. And then I play Gibson guitars now.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a really nice situation. My buddy actually Mark from Lamb of God had hooked me up with that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
super sweetheart.
Yeah, I started out as a Dean guy predominantly, and
I
then
did too.
uh, my buddy Pat here in Rhode Island, Boiling Guitars, as I mentioned, um, decided to have me as one of his first endorsed custom artists. So
All
I've
right.
been signed up with them for quite a long time now, and he takes care of all my stuff's pretty much homemade from the top down. You know,
Yeah.
what are you running for pickups?
I use the rail hammers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love them. So my rep Scott was my rep from EMG back in the
Yeah.
day, and then when he switched over to rail hammer, I like them because they're passive, but I still get enough gain, like almost to the point of an EMG, not quite, but
Yeah.
so I get my low and my highs when I need it.
Yeah, I feel like, I've got a couple of guitars with passive pickups and a couple with, active and whatnot. And I tend to lean toward the passive myself, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm a dime bucker guy. I keep
yeah,
it real simple, but,
yeah.
try to mix it
Yeah,
up a
we
little.
were all big Zach Wild fans growing up,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the EMG 81, 85 were just kind of standard. But and as I've
Yeah.
gotten older myself, I just kind of like the sound of a passive pickup.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, it's a different dynamic and,
yeah,
it's harder to explain for anybody that doesn't really play, but it's kind of like, if you turn it on a heater, you just dial it up and it's going to burn your hand a little bit more. That's
yeah,
just
exactly.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I've pretty much been a line six guy for a long time. I know that
Yeah,
sometimes they get shit on, but I think it's a really good product.
dude, if you get a tone you like, go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Once I got things dialed in, it took me about 10 years to get a signature sound per se. And
Yeah.
then, of course, getting used to mixing in with other players and stuff. It's
Oh
uh
yeah.
it's a whole different beast, but I'd love to go tube, but I don't have the what capabilities of doing all that. So it's just easier
It's a
having
lot to move, man.
yeah, exactly. It's a lot. And when you got
Yeah.
a 6 or 8 inch fucking foot pedal, it's kind of hard to work with. So,
Yeah.
but I make it work. I got my foot switch and my wall pedal. I run a bad horsey too. It's good.
Nice. I never was a wah guy ever.
No,
I never even owned one. I had
really?
one of Dimes that
Yeah.
Vinny gave me a long time ago, and I ended up giving it to a friend of mine who needed a wah really bad because I mean Dime. As far as I knew, when Vinny was always like, "Well, Dime would want you to play it,
Oh
play
yeah,
it, not just like
absolutely.
sit on the wall." So I gave it to somebody that would play it. And yeah, wahs were always just something that I think Zach Wild he uses wah a lot, real
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wonder if I can play some of that shit without the wah. So like,
Mm.
I'm not covering up any of my bullshit. If I fuck up, it
Right,
is what
right.
it is. And not saying that Zach fucks up because he's a phenomenal guitar player. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has.
Oh yeah. I mean,
We
when you
all
get
have
going
our
that
good days and
fast,
bad days, but I don't
right?
know. The wahs just never were my thing,
Yeah. No, I mean,
or
I
pedals
I
at all
like
for
it,
that factor.
but it
I
depends
was
on what.
always just yeah, I was always a straight cable into the amp guy with a noise
Yeah,
gate.
less is a bit more for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Try to
yeah,
keep it simple aside from doing leads, but
yeah.
um,
Grew up in hardcore bands, man. That was it. It was
yeah,
yeah, yeah, a dirty tone. That was about it.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, Digitech grunge pedal and a crappy head and go.
yeah. The old, that was the old the metal zone pedal when you had the good ones
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in the 90s.
exactly. Good stuff. So, do you have? Well, actually, let me skip back a little bit. Um, Tell me about that first night of actually being visually there on stage for the crowd to see and playing with the band like Mudvayne. Greg's a fantastic guitar player. They're all fantastic
Oh,
musicians.
everybody in that band is I mean, the best goddamn musicians. They're all phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal players.
So,
Um,
yeah, what was that first experience like?
it was there was a lot of like I guess adrenaline.
Yeah.
Um, like and I had a job to do and I had to go up and do it basically. It wasn't
Right.
any nerves or anything like that. It was just like, all right, this is what we've been working towards for
Mhm.
30 fucking 5 years or whatever. So let's go and do it. So we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. No bullshit. Just fucking
No
hammer
bullshit. Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the same way for sure. Totally.
Yeah.
So, right now, as it stands, are you actually going to be contributing to writing at any point, or
Yeah, I'm not sure. If I was ever asked to, then I wouldn't bat an eye at it. I would go and help.
yeah,
So I told them from the very get-go that I'm there to help with whatever they need.
right?
So being a hired gun, I'm fine, cool doing that. It's I still get to go out there and just jam with my friends.
Oh
But
yeah,
up to date, I haven't written anything. So whatever they've got going on, they've got going on, and I'm ready to learn it.
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just easier when you're in a situation like that. That coming into an established band like that, it's like, guys, just tell me what you want me to do, and we'll do it, and call it a
Yeah.
day.
Well, I mean, and the main thing for me is I was always I've been a fan of Mudvayne since I was a kid. So like
Yeah.
I would want the first music that I heard coming back to be from the four of them, anyways.
Hmm.
Just because I'm a fan of the band.
Right. Right.
Because I play in the band, I play guitar in the band with them or the band or however you want to word it.
Yeah.
Still, I'm still a fan, and they're
Yeah.
still my, you know,
Yeah. No, definitely. That's awesome to be in that position and
absolutely,
have that outside perspective too. Definitely
yeah,
keeps you grounded, I would think.
absolutely,
Yeah, right on.
yeah.
So, any crazy hell yeah tour stories that you can think of off the top of your head?
There was so many. It's hard to ever just pinpoint one. Me and Pete King were have just been like he's like my best goddamn
Yeah,
friend. And we were roommates together. So with the Hell Yeah camp, we shared hotel rooms for years because budgets weren't that big. So me and
right,
Pete King
right.
shared a room for a decade.
Yeah.
So him and I would just go and have the most shenanigan filled days all the time, kind of thing. Me and him and Chad and Luke would go and try to make the best out of it. I think the more, not even just shenanigans, but I remember back when I worked for Hatebreed, uh, back in like 2008 ish. Me and Maddie Byrne, their drummer, decided that we were going to turn touring into being a tourist.
Yeah.
So, like when you're over in Europe and whatnot, you go out and you explore and you see everything that Europe has to offer. But we never did that in the States. It was always just venue,
Yeah.
hotel, bus, venue. So we went to like Alcatraz and go and see who's got the biggest ball of yarn or whatever,
Yeah,
just to go
yeah.
out and see the States. So that's what we did. We went to like Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills. And I mean, we really had fun with it. So that started a whole different era of touring for me, which was
Yeah.
nice because it's very redundant, repetitive, just going from the transportation to the venue back to the transportation to the next venue.
Oh yeah, it's just like you're saying the same thing every day. So
Yeah,
I can
basically.
understand that for sure.
Yeah, same thing, different city.
Yeah. So before you got into, teching and touring, going on the road at the time, Did your previous band tour very much, or were you pretty much just local?
We're just local bands.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, it was nice, and we played a lot. We always like practiced more than anything else, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't be the best band that shows up at the venue, but we'd be the tightest for
Hmm.
sure. We always made sure that we were goddamn on point with everything,
Right, right.
as much as we possibly could. But then it was a different world back then. We didn't have girlfriends, and
No,
it's like
why is
we
there
go to
any?
school, get out of school, and we go have band practice, and then we go home and go to school and go have band practice again.
Yeah, that's kind of
Okay.
how high school was for me too.
Yeah. It's like you're either
Um,
playing with your guitar or playing with your dick. So I mean,
Pretty
it's one
much,
of the two. You pick one.
pretty much. It's just the way
Yeah,
it goes.
absolutely.
Oh man, fantastic stuff. So, is there any particular Mudvayne song that you had the hardest time, like out of all of them, that you had the most difficulty learning?
um, so it's I mean, I'm still to this day figuring out new little part because there was so many layers in all of those songs.
Yeah,
Um, One of the best things um that I was able to do was before that the show in Connecticut, there at Foxwoods, the last show when Greg had to go home.
yeah,
I spent like 17 hours with Ryan, just going through
yeah,
everything, relearning all the songs and whatnot. And Ryan is so like into. I mean, it's so hard to explain. That dude's knowledge of the instrument is just incredible. So I basically got um, a free lesson from
yeah.
Ryan, who's Ryan is like my best goddamn friend. Anyways, so him and I jamming together for that long and just picking apart all these things. It wasn't like, oh yeah, so it kind of goes like this and whatever else. It was like, hang on, stop.
Right,
It
right.
goes this note to this note. There's a slide, a pause, a harmonic, and then a little pick scratch, and then you go to the next. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
kind of. So, yeah, learning things from Ryan is just it's incredible, and soaked up and retained so much knowledge. Like I felt like a smarter person coming out of it. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a blessing when you can have a guitar, either a mentor or, just a band member like that that can help you elevate your
Yeah.
ability, and vice versa. Like there's nothing like it, I don't think.
No, yeah, no. I mean, and then if you ever get a chance to meet the guys, I mean, especially Ryan is just the sweetest dude ever. He
Yeah.
is so just down to earth, and just I mean the most humble fucking. It's incredible. If you ever get a chance to or whatever, or we're in Massachusetts, come out and I can introduce you to him. I'd love you to meet
Dude, that would be a fucking life-changing experience for me.
him.
Those
Yeah.
guys have been a big part of my playing, as obviously yours as well. So
Oh,
that
absolutely.
that would be a ton of fun. And I'm a lifelong. I mean, I got a dime bag tattoo. Like fucking Daryl was my
Yeah.
Jesus for the remainder of my adult life, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. I got one on my leg too.
Yeah, and I actually got a chance right after he passed. I think Talia was doing Mayhem Fest or something like that, and Rita had come down with the Dime Hardware tour bus and all that. And she's awesome about meeting fans and stuff, but her and I sat down and like really talked for like a good 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And she is just the sweetest lady.
She is a sweetheart too. Absolutely.
Like she had me choking up. She had both hands on my shoulders and said, Daryl would absolutely love you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like,
What
can't get
do I
any
do
closer
about
than
this?
that. Like, what the fuck?
So, Josh, you're married, you said, right?
Yep.
Do you have any kids?
No, not currently. I have a well, he's almost 3-year old pit bull, but
Uh,
I got two nephews and they keep my whole family busy enough. So
fair enough.
it works
Yeah.
out pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, right on. How
Yes,
about
sir.
you?
I got two boys, 10 and 12.
Nice,
So,
nice.
and they're both like they're 18 and 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I matured way too fucking fast for my age too.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Trying to get like a electronic lock on the fridge or something.
Yeah, right. It's like you guys just don't stop eating.
Don't stop eating.
Fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
They're both like Ron Weasley and Harry Potter. It just
Yeah,
keeps,
right. Just
yeah.
never ending chaos, man. No, honestly, like I'm I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one with a supportive rock and roll family because it's hard for people to adjust to that kind of lifestyle and
Oh
especially
yeah, dude.
as
Twice
parents,
the
like
same.
like I can remember getting in arguments about whether or not I was getting paid to play a gig with my old man. Like, this is bullshit. Like, what the
Like,
fuck are
hey
you
man, it's not
doing?
always about money. No,
Right,
it turns
right.
out it's always about money. He just didn't really think about it like that back then.
No, exactly. And
Yeah,
we get fed the whole thing about, oh, we're doing this for exposure, but you really are. You have
yeah,
to roll the dice, and it is a gamble in this business. Some people
always.
take off and everything comes natural, and others struggle for years and
Yeah.
just never quite get to where they want to be. I've been at it for 14 years, playing out live and trying to get somewhere. And the business has changed so much in the last decade. It's insane.
Oh, dude. Nowadays, like you don't need record labels or anything like that anymore. You
Right.
get a song that pops off and it goes viral or something. You make all your money like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I
It's a
had that,
different kind of life as far as the music industry goes.
yeah, if I had that 10, 12 years ago, I'd probably be touring with you guys.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 36. I'm gonna still chop away until I can't do it again. You
Yeah,
know.
dude. It looks. I hit 40 this year.
Yep.
So when I was 37, I think was the first show that I played with them. So the last 3 years of my life have been probably the best years as far as my musical career goes of my life,
Right.
which is great.
So what do you boys think about dad being a rock star now?
So they don't. My youngest doesn't really understand it, even though he's 10. He's more like a 6 year old with
Mhm.
his autism. And Dane,
Gotcha.
he's 12. He's also autistic, but on a different side of the
Right.
spectrum. And he thinks it's cool, but he's more into his video games. If I was like a streamer playing
Yeah.
video games, he'd be like, "Oh man, my dad's a god," kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing how things like that shift through
yeah,
generations. Like
yeah.
I'm just hitting my 40s now, and I find myself being like, oh, these fucking kids, Jesus Christ, bro.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not even 40 yet, and I'm already in that mindset. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
That's what happens.
But
We got
it's
a
a
big
hard
old
business
storm
we're
coming
in,
through.
and I think it ages you quickly.
Oh, it does. Yes. Yeah. Apparently, we
Before,
got a big old storm coming through here soon. It said
oh, up in New York.
tornado
Jeez.
watches and whatnot in New York. I'm like, really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a couple of the last big batch of storms, but nothing really
yeah.
materialized. But it's been oppressively hot down in Mass right now. It's like 90 degrees.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's miserable hot out right now. It's like stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's got to be shitty dealing with being on a tour bus when the weather's like that.
Oh, you know what? I actually like it.
Yeah,
I do. I do. Yeah, it's because I mean the sound of the rain hitting the bus helps me sleep.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
those things are built like tanks anyway.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just saying, like if you're not like financially backed and you got a fucking Winnebago trying to tour.
Dude, yeah, no, listen, we all been there.
Yep,
I
exactly.
remember being in a van with trivia. God damn
Yep.
it. Waking up with fucking Corey's feet in my face, spooning with Matt Hafey.
Yeah, I would love to spend 5 minutes with either one of those guys. They've been a huge influence on my playing for
Oh
sure.
yeah. No, that's super sweet dudes.
Yeah,
Uh
they just seem
again,
so
I mean
genuine.
I've known those guys for 20 years.
Yeah,
And they're just awesome, awesome people.
yeah,
Everybody has their opinions on them, on anybody, but my experience with them, they're just great.
So aside from kicking ass with Mudvayne and being a dad and selling cars in between time, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, I normally nap. I like napping.
Napping
That's
is
one of
good.
my biggest hobbies now. uh, I like taking the kids out to like the drive-ins and stuff because they get a lot of they really enjoy all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard going to like regular movie theaters sometimes with them because you never know what their reactions are going to be, kind of thing. So we found one that we like in the drive, which is great. So basically, that I like being a dad.
Yeah. Hell
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's always been my end goal. Unfortunately, for my wife and I, it's a little bit more complicated on the medical side of things.
fair. Yeah,
But I never say never.
never say never. You never know. You could have that one swimmer that just finds its way.
Yep.
Happened to me twice.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised. It doesn't matter how well you wrap shit up. Some things just
Yeah,
happen.
right. No,
But
and I think it's more on the wife. Like, if the wife feels like it's time, it's going to be time. There ain't shit you
yeah.
can say about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's gonna happen one way or another if that's what she's
100%.
got in her mindset for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Whatever they put their minds to, it will happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when did you first meet Chad?
Oh God. I think the first time I actually met Chad was my first day working for Hell Yeah in 2007 on Family Values.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I watched that show too. Fucking
yep,
the mass show for that one.
yeah. No, the one I met him at, I got dropped off in Albany,
Yeah.
um, by my buddy Pete and Nate Joe. They dropped me off down there because Tommy Maxwell, when I sold merch for Nothing Face, he had called me
Right.
up. I had taken my dad out to see Blackfoot and Molly Hatchet, and I got a call from Tom saying he needed a guitar tech, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell a guitar tech is at that
Hmm.
point?" Like, he's like, "Oh, dude, it's easy." It's not easy.
No, it's
Found that
not.
out the hard way. But it paid me $1,000 a week back in 2007. So that
Yep.
was more money than I had ever made in my life.
Oh hell
I
yeah.
was all about trying.
Yeah.
I went in there and learned whatever I possibly could. Got fired, got brought back.
Yeah.
And you live more. Then when I was guitar tech for Mudvayne was when I really learned a lot more about the trade itself because my buddy Bruce Pendleton and Scott Kachuk, that were the monitor guy and front of house guy for Mudvayne, they just put me through the ringer. Like,
Yeah.
if I was soldering something, Scott would come and check it. If he didn't like the look of it, he'd make me uh, unsolder it and solder it again, kind of thing. But it was very much just making sure that all my shit was always as dialed in as it possibly could be,
Yeah. So you
which
had
was
a
good. It
tech
was good
boot
for me.
camp basically.
Basically, rock and roll boot camp. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good way to put it. Yeah.
Right on.
Yes, sir.
So for bands, let's say on, my level at this point, been going at it for a few decades or whatever. What what's your opinion on shit like pay to play and stuff like that?
I mean, you got to get a gig. You got to get a gig.
Right.
Is what it is. Pay to play. Um, would the biggest part of that is knowing what the audience is going to bring. Like, if you're gonna
Right.
pay to play with a band that's just a half a level up from you to go out and do a tour to play to 14 people in each
Yeah.
venue, but you're paying,
Right.
$10,000 to be on the gig, probably not worth it. But if a band like Non-Point's going out and they want, you spend 10 grand to jump on a leg of their tour, you're probably going to play in front of fucking some people. So, I mean, it all depends.
Now, as far as like that end of the business, you know, a lot of us up in New England anyway, we deal with local promoters. I use some myself as well. Um, when I can. And it's tough when you get a national selling artist coming in and then all these local bands that want to play with them. Obviously, been there, done that. But like there has been some things over the years where I personally have gotten really fucked out of money big time.
Oh yeah, it
And
happened, and
yeah, I
that's
mean,
where the
and that's just the
promoters.
way it goes. But
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of people now, especially in my generation or whatever, and below me, um, age wise, they're coming up and they're really trying to take a stand against that,
yeah.
and especially with the Spotify stuff too. Like, do you feel like that's a reasonable thing to have an argument about, or do you feel like it's
Dude, I
kind of
mean, pick your
par for the
battles. The
course?
thing is, if a promoter's asking you to go and sell some tickets to help out, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Because your fan base is going to help bring people in the venue. The venue is going to make money. That's going to allow the promoter to have another show there. It's
Yeah.
kind of thing. If the promoter has got a band that is going to sell out immediately, no matter what, and wants you to pay money to be on that gig,
Hmm.
eh, that's a little shady.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's different ways to look at different situations that might come up from that. But um, at my venues, so what I did for my Christmas shows, right?
Hmm.
Uh, for my Fall of Humanity, my Syracuse band, what I did last year was I paid all of my opening bands, four of my opening bands, I paid them each $500.
Yeah.
I gave them tickets to sell, um, just to help out with everything, but they all were guaranteed $500. So if they sold 100 tickets, awesome. If
Right.
they sold two tickets, perfect. Didn't really matter.
Right.
Each one of them got paid in full as soon as they got to the venue before they played. And then I ended up making enough money to pay for the sound, pay my band guys, pay all the other bands, and then I didn't really make a goddamn fucking thing
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
But I got to go and have fun, and my dad got to come out and see me play, and that was the last show before he passed away. So that was
Well,
worth it.
that's definitely worth it then, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah, I've had some pretty damn good experiences, but I've had some pretty bad ones too.
Yep.
We were supposed to play when I was in Field of War back in 2013. We were supposed to play with Overkill and Testament at the Palladium,
Oh, nice.
and we were on fire at that time. Like, well, you know, maxing out a 200 plus club for a local band. That's pretty good, and that was a normal Friday night for us
Yeah.
at one point. So, we had everything moving along. We were told that, turn in whatever money you made from tickets that night, and everybody's at Square. We had a contract and everything. They decided to try to alter the contract in pen and basically send muscle to my doorstep, picking up whatever we sold. And because we didn't have money at X amount of date, we got booted off the bill and they walked away with $700.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty shitty.
Yeah. Not going to name any names, but yeah, it was a shit deal.
No, you live and learn.
Yep. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and, karma comes back around eventually. But yeah, that was probably the worst kick in the pants I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
So
I feel
that,
it.
that fucking pissed me off to no end.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
It's
worst part
shitty.
was is I was working across the street at a bar from the Palladium, booking local shit the night that I was supposed to play that gig at the Palladium.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That fucking sucked.
Yeah.
But
That's not personal.
but I mean, other than that, like I've even not playing gigs, like I've found such a home in the metal community, even from high school age that I don't think I would have had. When you're a little bit different and you're not quite sure how to find your place in life early on when you got limitations. Music literally fucking saved my life, dude. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
and it
Yeah. So
gave
you
me,
okay? So whenever it storms, my dog gets like paralyzed and starts shaking
Oh,
really,
jeez.
really bad. He can't move, and yeah, I'm gonna have to console him in just a few minutes, buddy.
That's all right. No
Yeah,
big deal.
you're okay, Mama. Come here. Yeah, yeah, he's shaking. Josh, buddy, I'm gonna have to cut this a little short, my friend.
No worries, bro.
So
Appreciate
listen,
your
hit me up
time.
before the Massachusetts show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
That sounds fantastic, man. I really appreciate you.
all right, brother. Well, hey, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you bringing me on.
Hey, man, I'll be in touch. Don't forget
Sounds good.
it.
Later.